Just record. It's in the same spot. The record button never moves, but I can never find it. Okay, so we're going to talk about sponsoring. It's the first week. I'm going to put Verna on the spot. I guess you're going to do next week, right?
I guess.
I mean, there's only so many of us here. Okay, so this is what I have as far as sponsoring goes, and it's a great time that this kind of, and it wasn't even planned because I don't get any information ahead of time. I get information when everybody else does, that it coincides with the incentive that Scentsy's doing with us, because the first one is recruiting. So for the first incentive, somebody correct me if I'm wrong because I didn't write it down. You have to sponsor one person between now and March 31st. And if I read it correctly, it actually has it from January. So if you recruited somebody in January, I think if they get certified, it counts for them too, right? So you're actually getting
so they had to sponsor them after January 1st. But they have to certify between February 1st and March 31st.
Okay, that makes more sense. So, and for anyone who doesn't know, so they have to certify, which means they have to sell $1,000 before midnight on the 31st of March in order for that to count. And there's a prize, a whole like streaming prize with a microphone and a ring light and all that kind of fancy stuff for doing lives and unboxing or whatever you want to use it for, on your laptop or your phone. So it all kind of worked out nicely, but not planned. And I don't know if anyone else picked up on it, but I kind of got it, the hint from Dan and Lacey last night that there's gonna be a join special coming in March, is the way it sounded to me. So if that happens, then we're really like hit the jackpot here, the trifecta, for this being the month that we're talking about sponsoring. So sponsoring is step 2. Step 1 was sales. So this is what I have. I have 3 main points for sponsoring. The first one is be brave. You need to ask everyone. If you don't ask them, if you don't share the opportunity, if you don't let them know that joining Scentsy is an option, then they don't know. So you're kind of deciding for them. As soon as you think, oh, they won't be interested, or they can't afford it, or they'll be a kidnapper, you're making that decision for them. And hello, dog. And you need to live Scentsy and love Scentsy and make it a part of your everyday life. So then you're not so much as selling Scentsy to them, but sharing Scentsy with them, the opportunity, so they can decide for themselves if it's something that they would like to do or that they could incorporate in their own lives. You need to help people find their happy place. And that could be buying Scentsy, hosting, or joining. It's going to be different for everyone, and it's more your job to help them find their happy spot than it is for you to decide whether it's for them or not. You need to let them decide. So talk to everybody, be brave. Don't be afraid. The more you do it and the more you incorporate Scentsy into your own life, the more comfortable you're going to be sharing it with others. My dog just learned fetch. So the second one is offer the join kit for every single party that you have, for every host. Make sure when you're closing out their party that you ask them or tell them about the join kit. So you could, let them know, oh, your party was $200. So you have one half price item and you have $20 in credit. But did you also know that you could still get all of that? You don't lose your rewards. You could still get all of your rewards plus $40. So sometimes people don't realize that they get to keep their rewards. Excuse me, with the join kit. So never close a show without offering that join kit. And if your hostess doesn't want it, you can offer it to someone else in the party. So if they don't want it, you can even kind of bring them in the discussion and ask them, well, do you know anyone else who, might benefit from 40 extra bucks or from these rewards that we could offer it to? I don't want it to go to waste, or however you want to word that, but make sure that you offer it from every single show. The third one is to make a list of everybody that you know who's ever expressed any kind of interest in your business. It might be someone who's asked you a question, or someone who you might have asked them about joining and maybe they said, no, not right now, or whatever their response was. Those are good touch points, especially if we are going to have a join kit promotion. It's a good thing. You can go back to them and say, hey, I know you weren't interested before, but did you know that we're having a special this month with whatever that special might be? So that could just be the kick that they need to go ahead and join. They're obviously interested, or they wouldn't be buying from you, or they wouldn't be asking you questions. So they love the product, they know the product. So there's some interest there on some level. So just make that list, use that list they're the first people you should contact to do a party for you. They're interested in it. And then if you get them to do a party or a show for you, then that takes you back to step 2, where they have the party for you. And when you're closing it out, you say to them, hey, you get all of this, plus, did you know you could blah, blah, blah. So, you always want to make your list, keep it, and your list is fluid. It's not always going to stay the same, because you need to keep making those conversations and having those conversations with people. So no doesn't mean forever. No just means no right now. So make sure you keep adjusting your list as people's lives change. You never know. They might not be interested today, but 6 months from now, they could lose their job, or they could decide they're going to stay home with their family. And maybe then they have the time to have, to make some extra cash. So you want to stay up to date on those people's lives. And that all goes back to being in touch with your customers and being authentic with them and communicating and making all of those connections. Once you know what's going on with their lives, then it makes it easier for you to comment on it and be a part of it and to develop that relationship with them. So when the time does come, it's more comfortable for you to talk to them about it. And it might be a time in their life that's easier for them to say, yeah, I'd like to do that. So those are my 3 big ones. The other thing and I can't remember her name, and I totally forgot to write it down. There was a lady that I watched the other night, and she used the phrase arrows in and arrows out. So for when you want to make these relationships with people, arrows in is all about you, what it's focusing on you, what them joining can do for you, what that sale can do for you. And what we need to do is focus arrows out, where we have all of these arrows going out to other people in our lives. And we want to make the connection with them on how can it help them? How can Scentsy be helpful to them? Once you start thinking in that direction, then it's a lot easier to make connections with people and for you to feel comfortable talking to them, because then it's not about you. It's not a sales thing where you're trying to sell them Scentsy. It's more you're trying to benefit them, to serve them. How can Scentsy serve them best? So I really liked that saying, arrows in, arrows out. And she also made the comment with, if you integrate Scentsy into your everyday life, then again, it becomes more where you're sharing it, not selling it. People just know you're Scentsy. You know, they know, like Verna was talking the other night about doing her TikTok and maybe holding like the soap bottle or something like a microphone. That's just, it's not that you're selling anything, but people see that and their mind makes that connection, even though it's this little thing that you don't think matters. It still makes a connection in people's mind. Oh, Verna sells Scentsy. So those were my sponsoring tips. I think that was all of my notes for the most part. Oh, the other thing to mention is another reasoning that you want to make sure you make connections and talk to every person is this. And I can't believe I even forgot this, because this is actually my story. If you're not planting seeds with people, someone else is. So you have to plant those seeds with everybody, even if you're not ready to ask them just yet, hey, would you like to hear more about joining Scentsy? It's planting those seeds, like the soap bottle or the photos that you share, or, you know, you're washing dishes and you're doing your live, you're planting a seed every single time. So if you're not doing it, there are thousands of other consultants on social media and in their lives that are planting those seeds. And that was my story with Billy, because Billy had been planting those seeds with me for years. And I bought Scentsy from several other people, but Billy and my friend Lori were my two main people that I bought from. And Lori never asked. I mean, I knew she sold Scentsy. I knew it was part of her life, obviously. But Billy was the one who planted the seeds with me. She shared with me when she was doing trips, and she would post when she would earn things. And I wanted to do, when I finally took the leap to do it, I wanted to do what Billy was doing because she was having fun. And it was something fun that I wanted to be a part of. So, you know, it took her several years, but eventually those seeds grew. And so that's who I sought out when I decided to do it. So you always want to be planting those seeds. It doesn't mean sell. It just means plant the seeds and share. So that's what I have about sponsoring. If anybody has anything to add to that before we turn off the recording, I think that's pretty much all I had.
I think you pretty much hit it.
Well, I'm trying to keep them like within that 15 minutes too, because we Rooney would like to say hello.
Rudy would like to join Scentsy.
Yes. Rooney could sell Scentsy because she's really cute. I had doctor's appointments this morning, and then I've been on the computer all day because so much information was coming out today.
Right.
Trying to keep up with all of it. So she hasn't had my attention.
Wow.
And she's spoiled. But that's all I had. Does anyone want to add anything to that?
Nope, you've covered it.
Yeah, I think you got it good.
Did I get anything wrong?
No.
All right, so where'd that, seriously, it's always in the same spot.